Welcome back, everybody. I'm Logan Crawford, and this is Fresh Outlook. Time now for our lightning round. I am joined by our Ebru think tank, Alain Sanders, Jackie Guzda, and Rob Pallitto. Okay, I'm going to turn to you, Alain, first, because you worked for 21 years as a writer for Time Magazine. Time's Person of the Year,
yes.
Ebola fighters. Good decision, bad decision, what are your thoughts?
Sure, good decision. It's the Man of the Year, or the Person of the Year, used to be called Man of the Year. The Person of the Year is the year roundup for Time Magazine, and it's typically meant to be a big seller issue, something that will get people interested in purchasing the issue and getting used to Time. And since this was a big concern for many people, it seems to me that it was a good choice. There were many other good choices, but if you take a look at the Persons of the Year over time, usually the choices have been people or concepts or ideas that are uplifting. And so in the face of a terrible crisis in Africa and a terrible crisis, as it was perceived anyway, here at home for a while, this is an uplifting message that we have people out there on the front lines trying to do good.
Rob, do you need a specific face? Is Ebola fighters good, or should we have just found one person who is doing outstanding work?
I mean, I think saying it more generally is more of a unifying thing for the public, and people can understand there's something we all have a stake in.
Okay. Jackie, we're taught in media that telling one person's story sometimes has more impact than telling the story of a statistic of 100,000 people. What are your thoughts on Time's Person of the Year?
I think they did a great job, a fantastic job. These people put their lives on the line to do this kind of work. As to quote you, Logan, one time you said God's work, and that's a great description of it. No, I think that taking the story of one doctor or one nurse and putting it out there wouldn't do justice to all those other people. We might relate to it, but I think the public is relating to all of the doctors and nurses that are out there.
And the incredible courage and bravery that they exhibit. Turning to our next topic, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge visited New York City for a 3-day visit. Jackie, I'll start with you. What do you think of William and Kate coming to the Big Apple?
Aren't they cute? They're adorable. Time to go home.
Well, you know what? In an era of people being admired because they have nude pictures on Instagram or there's some other kind of disgrace, it actually is kind of nice to see a nice young couple that's in love.
Yes, they're a nice young couple. They're lovely. We love them. 3 days, time to go home.
Okay. Alan,
I have to agree. My reaction is next. I mean, my reaction to royals, any royals who really don't wield any power, is who cares? They're nice, they're entertainment. It'll sell issues of People magazine, by the way, since we're talking about Time Incorporated. Lady Diana was People's magazine favorite person because she could also be counted on to sell magazines. But my reaction to royals is I think the French did what they needed to do, and I got a little French blood in me, needed what they needed to do to royals. So I think next.
Rob, what do you think? Do you, the monarchy, should they still be held in high esteem here in the United States and beyond?
I think Americans are fascinated with royalty since we've sort of officially, prohibited that kind of thing here. They picked a bad time to come to New York City, traffic-wise, but I guess they can get around easier than most of us can.
Okay. Speaking about somebody who was honored, let's talk about the young woman who was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for her brave work in standing up for women's rights, Malala Yousafzai. She talked while receiving her award and talked about fighting with her younger brother, kind of put a human face on a young girl and put in perspective for a lot of people just what it means for a young person to win such a lofty award.
This girl is not real. I don't know any 17-year-old that talks like that. I have a theory that she might be the new Antichrist.
But with that said, she's done some great things for good people.
Oh, she's fabulous. Yeah. She's fabulous. Imagine her future, what kind of leader she's going to be. Look at her now. She is such an icon. She is such a role model for young people and women. She's wonderful.
Alan, she almost seems like a charismatic leader, huh?
Indeed, and she's become an icon. The trouble with icons is they're wonderful when they stand for what they stand for. The problem with icons occurs when, of course, when they start to be in positions of power and start to enact policies. Then you sort of get, the tarnishing of the icon. But as long as she's an icon She's a wonderful icon for children. We forget about children so often. Everybody says they care about children, but when it really comes down to it, we really don't pay too much attention to children, particularly children around the world who face abuse, who face enslavement, who are worked to death in various industries. And so to the extent that she is an icon, and her co-winner also is an icon from India on children's rights and so forth, it's important to focus on children. They are our future. We speak about it so often, but unfortunately we go on and then do other things. So I think it's wonderful.
The children are the future.
Don't, please
I was going to cue the music. Rob, what are your thoughts on
I'm going to sound
Malala?
really old and really corny now, but I mean, as a college professor, I like to think that young people are also activists, and that young people are willing to sort of go out in the public sphere and make the world better. And maybe, you know, the last 2 generations, we haven't thought that as much as maybe we did in the 1960s.
And Occupy Wall Street was kind of a young people's movement, so we have seen some activism. YouTube top videos of 2014. This could be like the new Emmy Awards, I guess, because so many people get their media streaming to them. What are your thoughts on the YouTube Awards?
People have a lot of free time to sit around and watch these things. I thought they were horrible, except for Katy Perry and for Paul McCartney singing A is for Apple, B is for Boy, because those videos keep the kids busy in the back of the minivan. The rest of them, my God, the boy band that looks like the other boy band, Justin Bieber, and then all of the sexy girls that are coming out.
It must be a generational thing, because I often don't get it either, but people obviously are getting, these things are getting hundreds of millions of views. One I loved. It's the most watched YouTube video of the year. It's actually a dog dressed up in a spider costume that is scaring the bejesus out of everyone.
I can't believe people saw that and screamed and ran. It looked like a dog in a spider costume.
Okay, well, we're going to have to set one on you unexpectedly and see what happens, Jackie. Alan, what are your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. I think nonsense has its place in the media at times. I mean, there's so much serious nonsense, but this was innocent nonsense, and it was fun to watch. I didn't understand everything that I saw because I'm not up to speed on all the stuff, but it was fun to watch. I enjoyed it, and I think that's all it was meant to do.
And so, Rob's constantly watching Justin Bieber videos in his spare time because he really likes YouTube and
all
Justin
the time.
Bieber.
If I want to see these, I just turn my students' laptops around. I can see what they're watching during my lectures.
Such a distraction. I used to have a no electronics gadgets policy in my classroom because it's so hard to lecture when they're doing this, but they do this all the time. President Barack Obama donates toys for tots. I had to be careful not to sound like an SNL skit there, if you remember that skit. It's a season to be giving, and President Obama is setting a good example for certainly a worthy cause.
Yeah,
Jackie?
Absolutely. Set that example. Show us what's important. It's the spirit of giving. It's a small thing. It's a toy. Go ahead and do it. Maybe it'll inspire other people to do it too.
Toy can change a life. Alan, what are
I
your
want to hear what
thoughts?
Senator Cruz has to say about it. This is Obama doing something good.
Well, you're setting him up to be the Grinch. We never know. What are your thoughts?
I was just going
Rob?
to say McConnell or Cruz is going to find some way that it's encouraging America's enemies or something.
People to be lazy and shiftless. Pope Francis has answered a question, at least in part, that many of us have pondered. Do all dogs go to heaven? Well, that depends on whether or not they have a spirit. And the pontiff has apparently left open the door that it is possible that they do have a soul. Jackie Guzda hates dogs. She has like 5 of them.
No.
What are your thoughts? Do your dogs have a soul?
My dogs run my soul. I'm just surprised that it took so long for the Pope, nice guy that he is, to understand this.
Okay. Alan, your thoughts? Dogs, do they have a soul? Do you agree with the pontiff?
We'll only know when we all go to heaven, so I'll reserve question on judgment on that, I should say.
Okay, sounds good. Rob?
I've got a 9-month-old puppy, and she's got a lot of work to do if she wants to make the cut.
What kind of puppy do you got?
German Shepherd.
German Shepherd.
Yeah, she
okay.
was a rescued German Shepherd, so yeah, she's got some behavioral challenges.
No, but I'd like to put in a plug to rescue. I'm sorry, to rescue and adopt. Do not buy.
Right,
Yes.
right. Okay, I'm not with you necessarily on that because
That's okay.
I believe in rescuing pups and dogs, but I also love pedigrees. And I think pedigrees would go to the wayside if they weren't available for sale.
We can discuss this off air.
Okay, we'll have another topic another time. Want to thank our guests for joining us today, Jackie Guzda, Alain Sanders, and Rob Pallitto. They are the Ebra News think tank this week, and they did a lot of thinking, a lot of talking, and I thank them very much. Thank you for watching Fresh Outlook, Ebru's TV talk show that does what else? Help you keep your outlook fresh, informed, and lets you know about the spiritual status of canines. I'm Logan Crawford. Thanks for joining us.